Well, we're here for the second part of the stock report, as promised, with my man Andrew Lopez, our guy on the scene in New Orleans with the Pelicans. Of course, Andrew, in typical fashion, we set this up before Brandon Ingram got hit in the head and got a possible concussion, and Zion fell and hurt his tailbone. So we don't know what's going on with those guys as of now. So we'll talk around that for a bit. But you were at all three games last week. Obviously, a pretty good start. Disappointing game in Utah, injuries aside. Sunday, or against the Jazz, I should say. What is your initial impressions, though, from these first few days of this highly anticipated Pelican season?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be good. I think that's an easy part to say. It kind of still fits in with a 48-34 prediction if you're starting with a 2-1. But I think the thing that has impressed me the most has been what they can do on the offensive side. We know, look, they have the offensive firepower. They have a Z, a Brandon, a JV, a CJ. All four of those guys were averaging 20 points after the first two games. It just kind of shows you the balance. You think, okay, you think it's a big three, if you will, with CJ, Brandon, and Z, and then JV comes in and can give you 30 points on any given night, especially when he's going up against multiple 7-footers, like the Charlotte Hornets have. So I like what they were able to do there. I think the biggest thing to me, if they want to continue to win games, is going to be what they do on the defensive end. You look at what they happened on Sunday against the Jazz, and they did not come out with any real intensity on that side, and that's going to be where they have to win games. Larry Nance kind of said it post game on Sunday. Look, the offense is going to come. We're going to score points. That's not a question. Can we defend, and how can we defend? And when you look at the changes that they made to get back in that game, and yeah, I know they ended up losing in overtime, but they were down 17 in the fourth quarter right before Z went out. I think it was 15 when he went to the tape. Maybe it was 14 when he left. They go on a 22-3 run, essentially with CJ, Jose Alvarado, Larry Nance. I think it was probably Trey and Herb at that point. And that's kind of how they got back in the game. And I think that's the kind of where they're going to have to make their money, so to speak, is getting something going on the defensive end in games. They've hit 120 in all three games so far. That's where it's going to, they're going to have to win games.
Well, and let's get to that. I was going to ask about the big fella being back on the court, but to me, this is the existential question for this team. When they are trying to compete at the highest level, can they actually guard people? Now, Zion obviously isn't in the game for that stretch. JV, Jonas Valanciunas, isn't in the game for that stretch. Right. Brandon Ingram isn't in the game for that stretch. Those are three pretty questionable defenders at times. And then there's CJ, who obviously is not exactly a stopper. So when they have their core guys out there, obviously Herb Jones is elite. We saw him block Katie's jump shot the other day. How is that core group going to guard anybody, in your opinion?
It's kind of funny. If you looked at the raw numbers so far, they look really, really good on the defensive end. But I think that's more because the start against Brooklyn was so bad.
Yes.
For Brooklyn. That first 6-7 minutes was woo. Not
through
fantastic.
Through three games, a 30-point blowout will inflate your numbers in a lot of good directions for a while.
So, but I do like the activity that's there. You mentioned Brandon being one of those questionable defenders. I think Brandon has jumped a lot in the last year and a half. He looks a lot better on that side. I don't, I'm not saying he's a plus defender at this point, but I think he is much better, and the effort is there for him on that side of the ball.
Right.
Herb is obviously the guy who makes everything go defensively. So you understand, okay, yeah, we're wherever we want to be with him. But if you have a big that is just going to sit in the paint and be there, boom, you have JV and you can do that. If not, you can go to Larry Nance. And I think that is what one of the key things was in that comeback against the Jazz. They went to basically all three of their 7-footers are moving around and doing sorts of different things.
Yep.
Nance comes in there, and all of a sudden the defense starts to pick up. So you have that kind of option there. And I think you'll see games where Larry Nance is going to finish over JV.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.